Joined by Ursuline College senior Erica Huber for our GMAC women's basketball season preview. And first of all, thanks for taking the time to join us. And it's hard to believe that the season's already here.
Thanks. Yeah, we're definitely excited to get things rolling.
Now, you're coming off last season, which you won the GMAC regular season and tournament championships. You go to the NCAA tournament. Now that that's had a chance to set in, looking back, just how special was that season and what you guys were able to accomplish?
Looking back, just all the new faces we brought in last year and just to watch and live the growth of our team together and building those connections, really made it a special season for all that we accomplished.
Now, even coming into this season, with how memorable that season was, obviously the coaches are going to talk about putting that behind you and moving on to this season. Does that make the team, with the success last year, make you guys have more determination to come into this year for bigger goals?
Yeah, we have a lot of returning faces this year, so kind of opposite from last year, but just us knowing where we were last year and what it took to get there, I think we're definitely excited to push those limits this year.
Now, you go through the preseason, you've had a couple weeks of practice, a scrimmage. How are the five newcomers to the roster adjusting to the college-style game? Because, as you know, for freshmen, sometimes it's a tough adjustment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a few years, but I can relate back to my freshman year, and it's just hard getting that initial adjustment, being away from home. We have some girls that are a little bit further this year, so just watching them kind of come into their own, they're definitely adjusting to things really well, so I'm excited for their careers.
Now, you come up next week, you go to Cleveland State, then you go to Purdue. You played Ohio State last year, so this will be the second straight year with two Big Ten opponents in the exhibition games. How cool is it to go into those environments, into Ohio State, into Purdue, and play in those big arenas against some Big Ten teams?
Just playing on the court's pretty awesome as a student athlete, but getting asked to play another Big Ten school, I think that's just huge for our program, and it's exciting. The games are always competitive, but just getting that experience playing against them big schools is always good for our team.
And probably your least favorite question, but as a senior, coming into this season, your final season, when you started out here, things weren't always so great. And now 4 years later, looking back on it, what kind of memory do you see you having from your career here at Ursuline?
I just think it's cool to look back from when I first got here, and the program wasn't exactly up to par where it needed to be, but just seeing how far it has come, and I know it's only going to continue going forward from here, so I'm definitely excited to have been a part of that.
All right, well, thank you very much, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Continuing our GMAC women's basketball season preview with Ursuline head coach Shannon Sword. And Coach, first off, thanks for taking the time to join us, and it's hard to believe it's just a couple weeks away from the season getting started.
It sure is. I can't believe that we've got an exhibition game coming up in a couple days and another one, and then pretty much 2 weeks from today we open up, so we're excited.
Now, before we get into this season too much, last season, obviously, so many records set, the conference championship, the NCAA tournament appearance. Now that you've had a chance to let that sink in, what did all of that mean to you and to the program as a whole?
It's been a process here. Last year was my fourth year, and we've been through a lot of ups and downs, even 2 years of not having a gym. So, I just remember that buzzer going off last year in the conference championship game, and what I remember the most is the look on our kids' faces of just pure excitement and joy, and especially our upperclassmen who have kind of been through the ringer here during their career. So to see it pay off for them and to see them experience that's what sticks out in my mind about last year.
Now, you mentioned being here 4 years, entering your fifth year now. Obviously, the turnaround wasn't easy, and people probably will never understand completely what went on. But how much did that add to it, just seeing where the program is now from where it was 4 years ago?
I think that just made it that much more special. I think anytime you experience a lot of adversity while you're trying to achieve something, that when you finally accomplish your goal, it just makes it so much more special because you do remember all the obstacles and all the tough times. And I do think that was one thing that made last year so special, is because everything we'd been through in the years prior.
Now, maybe to some outside of Ursuline, and maybe even some within, last year was kind of a surprise throughout the rest of the conference. Obviously, it's an extremely competitive conference, but now having that success, how does that build into this year when teams are now kind of gunning for you as the top team?
Yeah, to be honest, going at this time last year, we didn't expect to have the type of season that we had. We knew we'd be better, but they definitely even exceeded our expectations as coaches last year. And this year will be different. I know last year, especially the first time around in conference, we took people by surprise. They weren't expecting us to be that much better. And so this year, with everybody returning, everybody knows that that we're going to be a tough team from the get-go. So we're not going to take anybody by surprise. I would imagine we'll have kind of a little bullseye on our back, so that's just a little bit of a different mentality to go into the season and to go into each game. And we've already talked about that a little bit. I think it's just a little bit of an adjustment, but I think that we're ready for that challenge.
You mentioned the returners. You have 9 returners, 5 freshmen coming in this year. How have those returners been able to help acclimate the freshmen to the college game?
Family's something that we talk about a lot here, and having great team chemistry and helping each other through things. So, anytime you have more upperclassmen than freshmen, it's a good thing, and it's especially good for us because, we have great leaders on our team right now, and our upperclassmen are just so willing to help, and they're there for the freshmen. So I know that's been a big thing this year, and the freshmen are lucky to have the upperclassmen that they do have around them to help them every day. It's been a big help both on the court and off the court.
Now, you mentioned the exhibition games coming up, one on Tuesday at Cleveland State, your alma mater, and then at Purdue next Sunday, another Big Ten team. You got to play Ohio State last year, another Big Ten team this year. How special is that for you as a coach, and then also just the players on the team to play in that environment at the BCS level?
Yeah, we schedule those teams for our players, those games for our players. Last year at Ohio State, that was the first time we had played a team that big in an exhibition game, and they loved the experience. They loved every second of it, and when we were done, they were asking who we were going to play this year. They really enjoyed that. So, we scheduled the Purdue game for them, and Cleveland State, we're excited about that. That's a local team that'll also give us a good test. So we're very excited about those games, and it's always nice, especially here in the preseason when they're playing each other every day and looking at each other every day. It's nice to get out there and see some different faces. But anytime you're playing somebody the level of Purdue in a conference like that, that's a special opportunity that I'm sure they'll remember forever.
All right, well, thank you very much for the time, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.